Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SeaBATTLE Drizzle City. And man, has it been a Drizzle City recently. I swear, every single day of the last 2 weeks has been just like coming down. But
yeah.
My name is Nato. I'm joined here by Otter. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. We saw a great first set from the pools round 1. It was the Beans against Team Name. So really some great showing, some cool team comps to see.
Yeah, for sure. It looked like there were some close games too. I was able to watch a little bit of that.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of big back, a lot of big fourth. You know.
Oh, definitely. One big push, one other push. But we are joined back again right now with Sunday Morning Sneedle versus Traditional Western Art. And I think this is a group of 2 different pickups here. And it'll be really interesting to see what both of these teams come out with. I was actually talking to Kronos like a month ago, and they told me that they were playing with a bit of a pickup on this run, and they were looking forward to seeing how it went. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they did.
Yeah. I have a lot more insight to Sunday Morning Sneedle. That is a team comprised of most of my coaches for my comp team.
Nice.
Yeah. So definitely some wacky comps are going to come out. I know there's a Tetris player, an Inkbrush player.
Oh, Tetris plus Inkbrush, that is chaos incarnate, right? Like, if it's not the Inkbrush flanking you, it might be the Tetris, like, reef sliding you, or zip casting you, you know? The other one exists, too.
And there might even be 2 flanks going on at the same time.
I know. The idea is get behind you and cause absolute chaos.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see as we're going into, when we go into the first round, we're going to be going on to Mako Zones. Yeah. Definitely a staple map since Splatoon 2.
Totally staple map. This is like, if you're going to play zones, it's probably going to be Hagglefish or Mako. Maybe there's a couple other ones, but Mako is definitely a super classic one. The nice thing that I really like about this map is it's not just one way to mid. Like, you can flank through left, you can also flank through right, and there's just enough predictability where you can know that someone's flanking from left or right, but you can't always be watching left and right at the same time, which makes it just chaotic enough for really good zones games, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, that makes it such a great map. Multiple entry points, multiple parts to defend, and if you try and defend both, your team is very split. So
yeah, totally. You can't be watching both flanks and be watching zone and be pushed up all simultaneously. You kind of got to pick your battles and track the opponent as much as possible.
Exactly. Certainly a recipe for chaos in the chaos games.
Yeah, it absolutely is. As we're getting down into this first game here, I think what'll be sort of the key on any zones-related game is it plays a little bit neutrally, right? The nice thing about zones being the first one is you have a very centralized objective, right? Like, you always know where the objective is going to be. Unlike something like Clams or Rainmaker, where the objective is moving throughout the map, you always know where the objective is going to be. So these teams, if they've never played against each other, at least in this tournament, they can kind of feel out each other's comps on this first zones game, and then change their comps if necessary to accommodate for the upcoming games.
Exactly. I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
It's a great chance for teams to get a feel for each other.
Yeah.
See what are the major threats on each team, you know, certainly, and then they can try and adjust.
Yeah.
It'll be,
yeah.
But definitely, yeah, time to potentially switch comps.
Yeah.
But, oh, and we see Traditionalist Western Art is just readied up. They're completely ready to go.
They clearly, I don't know if people on the line can see it, but like they just basically readied up instantly. So that tells me that they at least know what their initial zones comp is going to be. And it'll be really interesting to see if they stay with it as it goes. Because there are some teams where like they'll change everything and you'll be guessing every single time. Then there's other teams where it's like you know what they're going to run because that's what they run, right?
Yeah,
and we don't know for sure on these teams, but it'll certainly be interesting to see as we get into this game. So it looks like the comps have both been decided. The battle is coming, and here we are in round number 2, Splat Zones, Mako Mart. Let's take a look at these loadouts here, Otter.
Just things we would expect to get to it. You see Tetris Rush and an L3 coming out from Bran. Dynamo, Explo, Zap, and the Blue Dapples on the side of Traditionalist Western Art.
Yeah, this is really interesting on the side of Traditionalist Western Art because typically, in my experience, you don't see the Explo and the Dynamo together. But in this particular case, they know they want to play both of those sort of mid-ish range chip damage weapons. And I'm going to be really interested to see how it pairs up against them.
Yeah, not only that, especially since it's a double cooler comp. But right now, getting the action, Kraken is trying to put pressure over on the left side on Bran. Not really getting anyone so far. We see the cooler comes online. A shark from Inkpen.
Oh,
Oh, it gets kind of janked by the hitboxes. And the zone is under control of Sunday Morning Sneedle. It's their time to push up now.
Yeah, definitely. I think that initial push went in their favor. Really good trade from there coming out from Kronos. If you are Traditionalist Western Art, you want to be able to recap with this Reef Slider, and unfortunately, they don't have enough paint on zone, but T-Man makes a huge play there with 3 down on the side, and that's going to flip it back in their favor. Now it's their turn to set up their lockout.
Exactly. We see Kraken trying to set up on stacks. Definitely a strong position, especially for that AoE. Sunday Morning Sneedle is just trying to build up specials, but that's a pick on the Ink Brush. Definitely going in mana. 2 down. Makwa got some crazy picks there. Is going to let Traditionalist Western Art hold for even longer. We see the 1v1 between the Tent and the Explo. 1v1 of the slow Titans, but nothing really results from that. Kronos getting a great pick on Kraken the Dynamo.
Insanely good pick from Kronos. We saw, like you said, Otter, it's the battle of the 2 slow sort of midline weapons, and Kronos does come out on top there. Now, again, they're fighting Kronos once again coming out on top. You know, this has been whoever can set up the most, and every single time we see them basically get to mid, it's can we push out a couple people with another amazing pick from Kronos. Kronos is going crazy right now.
Definitely. Great Zook coming out. Sneedle is just trying to get any picks that they can, keeping the hold up. Right now, no one's gone down yet. There's both coolers are ready from Traditionalist Western Art. They get a pick on the brush. This is their time to go. We're at a 3v3. Just waiting on any other picks that they can get. Makwa trying to play into this tent a little bit, unable to find anything. This game is really just kind of staying neutral. A cooler has come out. They might be pushing more aggressive. As we see Makwa trying to push the left stack. Goes down, though.
Oh, Makwa again tried to push that stack. Was trying to get some fall-off shots on Kronos there, but just wasn't quite able to get it. They did get the flip, which is critical, but the penalty on their side is getting really low. Only about 11 ticks as the Dynamo and the Zap go down. That's 2 coolers they will not have. It is Traditionalist Western Art's turn to try to retake there, but they're going to need more specials.
Exactly. They've already got 1 pick, which is a great start for them, but they've got to go really soon. The match is almost over. They are fighting for the cap right now. Inkpen was able to secure the kill, and it looks like there's not going to be much painting power. This is probably going to be the game.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was the game. You know, that final pick from Inkpen where it was a Doolies versus Doolies match where you just want to prevent them from getting the Reef Slider and using that to cheese back out the zone. Didn't happen, and that is a 1-0 in favor. And, you know, something you said at the very beginning, Otter, was about the dope double cooler comp. And we sometimes see it. We sometimes see the no cooler comp. We sometimes see the 2 cooler comp. We mainly see the 1 cooler comp, but having a double cooler comp tells me that they want to play aggressive constantly. But the drawback of that is they only have at maximum 2 retake specials, right?
Yep.
And we kind of saw that in that game. If they lose both the Zap and the Dynamo, then where's their cooler? And then the other 2 have to fight and try and do a 4v2. So definitely sort of like a high risk, high reward gameplay. And halfway through that game, it was rewarding. They actually took the lead, but unfortunately for them, it sort of flipped back in the other favor when some team fights went the other direction. So
it definitely makes your team super dependent on the main weapons and the main weapon fights, which we just saw so many good 1v1s in this, just by the nature of the weapons. Saw some good dually 1v1s. The Tent fighting the Explo.
Yeah, I know. You don't see that every single day, where it's like the big slow roller versus the big slow Tent, where both of them are sort of fighting at the very tip of their range and I'm chipping you, I'm chipping you, I'm chipping you. But really good play from both of them. And now we're getting to Rainmaker, Undertow, Spillway. So how do you think this is going to play different than Zones? Because it's definitely faster.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Traditionalist Western Art is going to be sticking with that double cooler comp.
Yeah.
On one hand, I could see it. You're playing Rainmaker. You know people are going to die. It could be good to have it. On the other hand, though, losing another retake special is very dangerous on defense.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think I'm expecting them to switch off a double cooler. Probably a single cooler comp, since if they were doing double cooler, they probably like cooler.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they're going to go no cooler. It's just a question of how many coolers we're going to see. So also interestingly, I wonder what we're going to see coming off of the side of is it Saturday Night Sneedle or Sunday Night Sneedle? I'm so sorry. There's 2 teams.
Sneedle.
Sunday morning Sneedle. I'm sorry. There's another team here called Saturday Night Sneedle, and this is really going to mess with my head.
It will be a menace if both teams get on stream.
Yeah, I know. The commentators, I don't envy their job if they're going, if they end up against each other. But anyway, from the side of Sunday morning Sneedle, I'm curious to see if Kronos is going to stick with that tent, because tent is sort of what I know them for, but they're also an expert player at like green sword as well, which shocked me. I'm like, Kronos, you play green sword? And then we'll see if Inkpen and Brand decide to sit with what they are, and if Sakura decides to stay with the Ink Brush as well. I think Ink Brush can really pay off on this map, especially if you flank all the way around, like the long flank. But we'll have to see. With only 8 seconds left, these comps are being decided rapidly.
It's definitely going to be, if their comps stay relatively the same, it's going to be like the battle of who can set up better.
Exactly. You just want to get set up in mid. You want to out mid-range the other mid-range weapon you're fighting. And as we load in here, let's see what these teams come out with. Rainmaker, make it rain. All right, from the side here, Tent is staying, it looks. Looks like a very similar comp on the side. I think the only change, if I'm not mistaken, is Bran has switched off to that V-Splash from the L3, and I believe that's the exact same comp from the side of Traditionalist Western Earth.
It is. They are sticking with that double cooler, taking the risk, fighting more main weapons instead of retake specials.
Yeah.
We see Sneedle gets the pop, so they have some paint in mid. No one has gone down yet. We're just playing a lot of, but T-Man gets a pick on the Ink Brush. It's a trade. It is still very neutral game right now.
Definitely. Bran pulling out with that crab, able to stall a little bit because right now it's just them and Kronos, and Bran is playing up a little bit aggressive here as they wait for their teammates to get back in. We can sort of return back to a neutral stall position. No team really wants to push the other too intensely until they know that they've got 1 or 2 down, as one in the 1v1 here, but slash 1v1. We finally see a pick out on both sides. Bran picks it up, and it'll be up to Kraken on the left-hand side to take it down, but oh no, they get punished.
And Makwa is coming by with the flank, trying to get anything. Bran is able to just ignore and running forward towards that check. It looks like no one is able to stop the Expo finally here, but Bran is still alive, just kind of ratting around. And Sneedle is going to have a very, very good position to be holding from. But Kraken comes behind them, trying to get something done here. Unfortunately, it goes down to Inkpen, and that is going to continue the push for Sneedle. For
sure, yeah. Kraken, you know, went behind with the Dynamo roll. You don't always see the Dynamo coming back there, but in that particular case, they did able to stall quite a bit. 3v3 situation on the field. Inkpen trying to stall out for their teammates to come back in, but we have so many specials and chip damage coming from the side of Traditionalist Western Art. It looks like that might be the end of this push here, Otter.
Yeah, definitely. And the wipeout just signaling that, yeah, this is the time. We see Traditionalist Western Art is trying to get up quick. Kraken painting up forward with the Dynamo. Seeing if they can get it. Cooler has come out. Inkpen and Soccer going on the right side with Kronos on the left side. Definitely trying to get a pinch here. Beautiful Zuka pick. Like 3 beautiful Zuka picks from Kronos. That's just, what can you do? It's a Zuka.
Yeah, it's so hard to counter that. I just want to call out what we saw on that side where Sakura and Inkpen basically both flanked, which gave Kronos the ability to put up their tent shield and pull out that amazing multi-Zuka pick that you saw. And really, I think it's a matter of, if you have the double cooler, you have to be able to push off of that rapidly, but if you have 2 very quick flanky weapons on the opponent's team, it really can be hard to do that, and sometimes you just go down.
Exactly. The flanks just make it so hard to look forward. You have to look at them. To ignore them, they just get you.
Exactly. Well, we're returning back to a mid situation here, and it's just been sort of a struggle here for Traditionalist Western Art because they keep on getting the cooler out, but every single time they've been going multiple down, and Jaeger here is just under so much pressure. They've been doing a great job painting for their team, but ultimately, as they're being pushed back with the Rainmaker again in their opponent's hands, they're going to have to come up with some way to counter this, and maybe that's it.
Yeah, Soccer able to push into that corner. Sneedle is really just going to try and keep it there. That's all they need to do. They have the lead. Rainmaker's a very stalling mode. But Bran goes down, absolute bloodbath in there. It looks like Sneedle has lost that space, though. And this is the time for Traditionalist Western Art to start to make a repush.
Indeed, you know, they have a pick on Inkpen. That's a really, really good start. That's only one weapon that's going to be doing a lot of the flanks, although the Tetra will be back quickly, and they do have to fight the tent shield down in lower right here. They lose one of their cooler weapons. They lose both of their cooler weapons, and that's another 3 down on the side of Traditionalist Western Art.
Yeah, just that giant, and a wipeout even. The giant tent shield and the 2 flankers just splits the attention so far.
Indeed, and look how quickly they've moved up here. It's almost as if they just want to put pressure on with Kronos and Brand again, working together with another pick from Inkpen. Is this going to be a knockout? Yes, it will, Otter. What a showing.
What a showing indeed. Just crazy flanks from both Stalker and Inkpen. They just... You can't look anywhere.
Yeah.
You can look everywhere, and there's an enemy. You can't focus on one position.
You're always going to have one behind you. I think that's a worst-case scenario when you have both a Tetra and an Inkpen potentially flanking you at any given time. And, you know, credits to Traditionalist Western Art, because I think they knew going in that they were going to have 2 weapons basically always flanking them and the tent in the middle. And I could see that they were really pushing to get that paint control. They were really trying to get the cooler out one after another. And I think they sort of picked up on that, and they were like, hey, we need to get these 2 cooler players down, and if we do that, that sort of like hampers their entire strategy. So I think they just won enough team fights in the middle of that game, and obviously the team fight at the end, just a beautiful execution on the side of Sunday
morning Sneedle.
Sunday morning Sneedle. I'm just going to stop saying it. I'm just going to call them like SNS or something like that, and you're going to have... Yeah. Oh, no, never mind. That's not going to work then. Okay, I'll just let you say the name of that team every time I forget. But yeah, really good showing from both teams there, and I think that the double cooler can definitely work, and I think that this team can pull off the double cooler. It's just a matter of they have to win enough team fights to make it work, right? If they win the team fight after grabbing the cooler, then suddenly they have another cooler, and they can just sort of snowball off of that. And we never really saw the snowball happen on the side of Traditionalist Western Art.
Certainly. I will say, I think that the double cooler was able to make those flanks like less catastrophic.
Yeah, for sure.
They were able to recover quickly from that. They're respawning quickly, so they definitely need to win those team fights.
Yeah.
But double cooler certainly helped to stop the bleeding a bit.
Yeah, and it's really curious to see if they'll stay with the double cooler. And now that they're on game 3, they're like, okay, maybe we want to switch to a weapon that has a little bit more of a kill or retake special, and we'll just go with the 1 cooler. Maybe they go 0 cooler, or maybe they're like, no, we'll double down on this. We really want the double cooler. 3 coolers, I don't know. It could happen.
Could happen. 4 coolers.
4 coolers.
Haven't seen that since the test fire.
I haven't seen that in a long time. I remember when test fire came out, and people were just kind of starting to realize that cooler was like a really kind of cool special, and we were just seeing like 3 coolers on each side. Oh my gosh. My team was like, cooler, cooler, cooler. Slow down. Coolers are fun. But yeah, now that it's in game 3, we'll see if Brand switches to another weapon, because they were the only person who really made a change from game 1 to game 2. And I don't see a lot of L3, but L3 has been rising a little bit with the buffs recently, and we'll see if they decide to go back to that L3 or they'll stick on the splash, which is, you know, the very, very tried and true, has been really good since the game started. Crab is always a top tier special, but yeah, let's see what they go toward. Looks like, ooh, that is a big change here. No tent. Kronos has picked up the decap, and that is also a change on the side of Traditionalist Western Art. They're going with the bow.
So many changes from both teams, possibly because it's game 3, but definitely trying out new things. We see both Inkpen and Sakura going on the far left flank. They're going to be fighting together to get that attention. But Inkpen goes down to Makwa, leaving just Sakura over there. So far, no one's really able to push off of any of that, though. Space is kind of neutrally still in mid. Everyone's just looking for picks, not able to see. A couple of specials are online, but no one's using them yet.
Yeah, big change.
Kraken is able to help them trade out for their teammate. They're able to find a pick on the pen. This could be huge for Traditionalist Western Art. They ran out of ink. Barely
ran out of ink there. Two separate flicks that probably would have killed. Unfortunately, they are able to punish there. But yeah, really interesting change to the roller that we didn't really talk about there. How there is a bubble now on both sides with Kronos on one side and roller on the other, although T-Man does lose that fight against Kronos, who also gets traded out from Makwa. It is just chaos on the field here, Otter.
Just so many fights going to happen, so many trades for everyone. No team has really gotten a certain foothold over the other. You see, we got a couple specials on the side of Traditionalist Western Art. Going to see if popping them is going to let them fight more.
Ooh.
But Sakura finds a pick and then gets traded out by the roller. Just an absolute bloodbath here. Kronos pushing up in their pot, is able to find one. And he's going to look for another one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can say Kronos was going for the second one here. Kraken only needs one more, and their team does have 10 clans. The problem is no one is close to them at the moment. They might be able to push up here, but they will need the pick on Inkpen, which they do get. Kraken still has 7, only needs one more, and it looks like we are going to see a score here from the side of Traditionalist Western Art.
Certainly, this is definitely a clamped game. First score takes a couple minutes to get to, but both teams just fighting hard for that space. Inkpen is just trying to stay alive here, poking from bats, trying to help their team retake the flat. No one's gone down yet. The zap does finally go down, which is going to be a huge loss for them. Another trade from the Inkbrush and Kraken. It looks like Sneedle is out of danger now, pushing back in the mid.
Yeah, Sneedle did a good job making that push no worse than it was. I was a little bit worried for them for a second because it looked like they had lost two, but now it looks like it's their turn to sort of come back. But Makwa is able to punish Kronos on that zip there, and it looks like they're going to try to push up because it's still 2 down, but ultimately they don't have the clam economy yet. They're going to have to back up in the mid and pick up some more clams.
Yeah, they're just right now just holding the space for when they do get clams. The one thing is it does let Traditional Westerner get more resources though. Kronos gets a good pick on Makwa, but and then the pen still goes down, so we're at a 3v3 situation.
Oh, battle of the bubbles here, and Kraken, it ends up being a trade with the thanks to Sakura's help here. Although, you know, basically this entire game, it's been like clam economy. We've seen both teams try and get on the opposition's base, and now here is the chance. You can't stop the Inkbrush, especially when there is a wipeout, and it looks like they do have a lot of clam economy in their hands here. Traditionalist Western Art is going to have to shut this push down real fast.
Yeah, definitely. That wipeout just let Sneedle get all the space that they wanted, and it's let them score a ton of clams. We still have 3 up for Sneedle. Cooler coming out from Brand. This could let them extend the push even further, but it only will happen if they have a clam in, and they do get some clams in. Overall, they're still fighting. They still have a good hold of it, trying to see if Traditional Western Art can get anything.
This push has not ended. This is absolutely unbelievable. There's been like 2 times I've thought it's over, they don't have enough clams, and even right now it's just Kraken trying to defend, gets the critical pick on Inkpen. It looks like the push is finally going to end.
Finally stopped the bleeding. Still definitely in danger. 16 is one heck of a lead for Sneedle. We see Kraken trying to find some stuff. Brand goes down, and Kronos goes down. That is going to let Traditional Western Art really push in. Man, it's still a 2v2 situation. There's just so many trades happening in this game.
Yeah, you know, Sneedle, it seems like every single time they end up with 2 down on their team, they're able just to get a pick or 2, and again, the double flank, like we've seen this entire set so far, comes back through, and you know, they might not be picking up a ton of clams right now, but they are keeping Traditionalist Western Art back on their side of the field, and again, with a comp that has both a roller and a bow, they have to work from a map control perspective, right? Like, they need to get map control first and only then push, but with only 26 seconds left, it looks like they're going to have to make a push more out of desperation here. They do have the cheese ready. We'll see if they use it. That might be the end of Kronos. No! They survive! What is this?
Just crazy hitboxes from the Shark. Doesn't let them get it. Now Sneedle is just putting the pressure back on, and it looks like Traditionalist Western Art is not able to get the push that they needed. So far, and it's overtime because they have a power, but Sneedle's trying to get the score in.
It looks like they just want to end it right here. Otterin with 3 down. All they have to do is push forward and score this ball, and they push down the last individual from the team, and that will be the game. What a slugfest.
Dude, Trade City. That's all I have to say. So many trades going down, so many flanks. I don't think anyone was safe in that game.
Definitely not. Yeah, you know, Traditionalist Western Art, they had a really good showing there, especially at the beginning of the game, because they had the first push. They actually had, I think it was a push 271 at the beginning, which was really exceptional. I just think the overall flanking, and then we saw Sneedle just on their plat for like 3 minutes. Well, felt like 3 minutes straight there, just scoring and scoring and scoring. But really good showing from both teams, and really excited to see what they do for the rest of this tourney.
Definitely. Both teams did a great job. It was very fun commentating this set and watching this set.
Indeed. Well, before we sign off, can you tell the good folks at home what your cosplay is?
Oh, my cosplay is Noelle from Deltarune, and if you stick around for stream, I'm sure my team will get on. We have a full Deltarune cosplay, so keep your eye out for that.
Indeed. Well, we will be signing off now. Stay with us. There's a lot more SeaBATTLE to be had very soon. See y'all.